And that is really the process that the Course in Miracles says is what's happening to us all the time, is we project on others that which is within ourselves. And in so doing, we feel as though they are wrong and that they are attacking us, and that this practice of projecting what is inside of us onto another and then condemning them for what we think they're doing, this practice of that keeps us in a state of guilt and fear. Because as we give it out, as we see it in them, we feel it in ourselves. Or as Jesus would say, judge not that ye not be judged. A very simple few words, but the meaning of it is really quite deep, that essentially everything that you're projecting out there gets reinforced inside of you. Unforgiveness here is projected as something unforgivable there. The truth of who we are, the real deep truth of who we are, is that we're not separate from God. But somewhere along the line, we thought that. And thinking that we were separate from God, then we became afraid that God would be mad with us, that God would attack us, because in some ways saying I'm not with you is an affront to God, and that he would attack. And in attacking, we became afraid of what might happen and guilty for actually rejecting God. And that's kind of the basis of this problem. Was not a true thing, was not really true that we could be separate from God. If you think about it, God emanates, and so there's no way you could be separate. But we, for the moment, forgot that. And in forgetting that, we felt the separation, and in feeling the separation, we formed an ego, an idea about ourselves, an identity that says, I am separate from God. We formed this, boom, like that. And that is the one that holds this guilt. Because if we actually noticed that the fear and the guilt that we project on others was in us, then we would probably either self-destruct from the horror of it, or we might heal from it. And essentially the work of forgiveness is the healing of that through this recognition that everything we see in another, we have an equivalency inside ourselves. It keeps us believing in our separate sense of self. It keeps us away from enjoying the presence of the divine as us. It keeps us from bliss, from love, without conditions. It keeps us from peace. And we who would like to be free of the sense of fear and guilt, we who can imagine a better world, have to practice forgiveness to get there. What the Course is asking for is the kind of guilt that says you were never guilty. There's nothing wrong with you. And as a matter of fact, I see you as innocent. I hold you as innocent. And if you actually did try to attack me, all you were doing was a very bad way of trying to say, please give me love. I need love. So you're either loving me, or I see you as calling out for love. Those are the only two things I see. Because I don't live in a world that's filled with guilt and with fear. I don't have that, so I don't see the world that way. And coming to this place of not seeing the world that way is the goal of spiritual life according to the Course in Miracles. You basically recognize that you're projecting onto another. And in specific that you're doing it. Not like, oh yeah, I project on others. That's not good enough. You've got to see where you're actually doing it, where the habit is happening now. See it. And then desire to not do it. And to ask the part of God that has never really left God, but is still with us, that part that goes between the undifferentiated and the differentiated. And the Course in Miracles would call that the Holy Spirit. You talk to that and you say, help me. I'm stuck in my habit of condemning and being afraid. Please help me. Change me. And ask. Just ask for help. This transformation is the transformation of your back to guiltlessness, back to one with God, back to being at home with yourself as part of the whole. You can blame it on anybody you want to and stay in hell forever, or you can claim that you are projecting your guilt on them and you can begin to see them as innocent and reverse the process. That's what the call is, to reverse the process, to go home like a prodigal son back to the Father, who has never seen you as anything but innocent and has never stopped loving you completely, has brought it to us. This is what we're about. Owning that we are creators of the world we see, asking that we be changed so that the world may be changed. Let's make a world where people don't yell at their mother, where friends say, I'm sorry, and ask for forgiveness, where political parties don't make the other the enemy, where countries can somehow see in the other that we have common goals and happiness, that lovers and wives and husbands and cannot make the other wrong, but see them as innocent and touch each other with kindness and love. Let's make that world.